Hey booze, hey, do your blankets feel like super glue in the morning? Well sis, it's time to shake them off. Welcome to Wake Up Happy Sis, the show that jumpstarts your day with a bang. We're strolling down these self-care streets as we navigate the maze of wellness and healing. We're helping you live happy, healed, and whole. And we do it all with a hearty dose of belly laughs for good measure. Stay tuned and get ready to wake up happy, sis. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, Leanne Dose, your host with the most of the Wake Up Happy Sis show. And we are here broadcasting live on KCCR Cityscape Radio, where we're changing the narrative for our people because we're always telling our story our way. And we're unapologetic about it at all times. So, today, we're going to be going to part 2 of redefining the script, of flipping the script, redefining success on your terms. So just a recap of what we talked about on Monday, we really talked about how you can create a work-life harmony that honors mental health and well-being, right? How do we flip the script? How do we stop listening to everyone else's definition of success and redefine it on our own terms, on what freedom, fulfillment, happiness, our values, and our morals, not so much on, do you have this position? Do you make this much money? Because money isn't even the most important thing in life. Your time, your health, your connections, your family, right? Define success on your terms, not on others' terms. We're not doing that anymore. We're done with that, right? So we talked a little bit about cultural expectations and success, especially in Black families, where we're talking about, as Black women, a lot of times we feel pressured to carry the weight of those generational expectations, right? And conform to society's roles, that we're supposed to be the foundation. We're supposed to be all of these things to everybody and not to ourselves first, right? We talked about the impact of social media and social narratives on how we view success, right? From a social media perspective, how many followers do you have? How many likes do you have? Right? That's people's definitions of success, but it doesn't have to be your definition of success, right? And we talked about, how do we create our own personal view of success, right? Reflecting on what makes us happy, what makes us feel complete, whole, what are our values, right? What does success mean to us personally? And we talked about ways that we can start navigating that landscape by setting boundaries and reclaiming our time in the workplace and in our home and in society. Setting those boundaries, and not just setting boundaries, but enforcing those boundaries, because that's important as well. We get so used to, oh, I've got these boundaries, but we're not enforcing them. First boundary you have to set is with yourself. Because if you're not going to follow your own boundaries, why in the hell should anybody else, right? We talked about there being cultural challenges in setting boundaries, especially if you come from a family, matriarchal or patriarchal, where that hierarchy is hard for you sometimes to step out and be your own person. And you feel like you are constantly living someone else's script, because you're really living the life that your parents wanted for you, maybe instead of the life you want for yourself, because you've taken their views of success as your views of success. And you've never taken that step to say, okay, what is success for Leanne? But today, what we're going to talk about is really how do we take our values, right? And how do we align our careers with our core values so that we can get a better definition of success and we can start living and achieving long-term fulfillment, right? Because it's not just about how do I view success, it's about how do I live a successful life, a fulfilling life, an abundant, a prosperous, a happy, whatever those values are for you. So before you can really align your career with your values, you really have to identify what those values are. Do you know what your core values and your principles are? Could be things like integrity, creativity. Family is always a big one for a lot of people. Community. Now, a study by the Barrett Value Center found that individuals who align their careers with their core values report higher levels of job satisfaction and lower levels of stress, right? Because you have to do what's in alignment with your values. What makes you happy when you're looking at your career and your career trajectory? You might not want to be a CEO. You might not want to even be a VP. You might want to just go be a line, not even a line worker, but be a regular employee. And that's your level because you love doing sales. You love being a salesperson. You love being able to get out and talk to people, find out what their problems are, and find solutions that work for them, right? That might be what you love. Now, to begin the process, I want you to create a list. Like I told y'all, I always keep little cards by me so I can jot stuff down. But I want you to create a list of your top 5 values, right? This is how you know money isn't even a part of your top 5, right? And this is a way that you can question yourself to see what your top values are. When it comes to money, if I promise you $100 million, $100 million, but you died tomorrow, exactly 24 hours after you received the money, would you still take the money? Most people are going to say no. Because money is not your top value. It shouldn't be your top value, right? It shouldn't be your top value. Integrity, honor, trust, family. Those are the things that are important to me, right? Honesty. Oh, I didn't know. Okay. You decided you was going to come on in. But you can, unfortunately, I can't really hear you because I hear the music in the background.
So uh, put me back down in the studio to cut out that.
All right. So now you've got your 5 values, your top 5 core values. Now I want you to now reflect on how these values are currently being honored or compromised in your career. We don't just talk about the good, we talk about the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, right? How are your values being honored and magnified, or how are they being compromised and minimized in your career. This clarity is really going to guide you on making some tough decisions about your career, or maybe not even just your full career, but about your career path at that specific company, right? You need to know which way you're going to go. Are you going to stay there? Or are you going to move around and find something, a place, a career, or a business that aligns with your values better? Who wants to live their life doing something they hate? That you get up in the morning and you hate the existence. You ready to come back in, Sharonda? Or you just listening in? She's just going to listen in. She's actually driving. They're on the road right now. So she wanted to be here, but I'm going to hold it down for us. So now that we got our values, we've reflected on how it's either magnified or diminished in our career, honored or compromised. Your next step, does this career really align with that? Because I'm a salesperson, but I feel like I got to be a shark to be in this business, right? You have to look at, does that career align with who you want to be and how you want to show up in this world? A lot of times we don't do that, especially if it's a position that makes a lot of money. We so easily get sucked into money because we see, when we look at TV, what's the first thing that you're always pretty much shown? How the other half lives, and how who you are may not be good enough, right? Because you don't have the 6-figure job or 7-figure business. You're somehow less than, right? You're not a boss. You're just an employee. But the real thing is, everybody can't be a chief. Everybody can't be a boss. Workers are what keeps this country going. They are what keep the economy going. Without the workers, what the hell all these bosses gonna do? What you gonna be bossing? Nothing. There are levels and everybody has to be at their level. Everybody doesn't want to be an executive in whatever. And that's okay and that's beautiful. But does your career choice align with your values and how you show up? Look, Pepper, this is what we're here for. And welcome and thank you for tuning in this morning. Right? Now, let's say one of your core values is, I really want to have a work-life balance. I've been working so hard in my career, I barely see my family. I don't have the best relationship with my husband or with my kids. I really want to work on work-life balance in my life. But your job requires you to put in a lot of overtime. It's very stressful, long hours, some of which you may not even be getting compensated for, but the expectation is that you put in that effort, you put in that extra work. There's a misalignment between your core value and your career, right? Because when you feel aligned with your company's values, like that company that I work for, their values align tick and tie with my values, those are the people that stay. Those are the employees that stay. Sharonda said one of the things that happened for her in her relationship, because we're not just talking about work, we're talking about in your personal life as well, that the pandemic actually helped her and Enrique as a couple. And The pandemic caused a lot of strife in a lot of people's relationships because they realized that their relationships were not aligned with their core values, their mate, and how their mate, who their mate was, and how they were living. They were more like ships passing in the night because they didn't have enough interaction. And when they were forced to be right here with this person, it was do or die. There were a lot of rises of domestic violence. And some people didn't make it through the pandemic as a couple because the alignment was off, right? When you're aligning, when you're looking at how do I align my career or my personal life, we talked about this a little bit last time was, well, we talked about an energy audit, but now we're going to do a value audit where I'm going to assess my job duties. I'm going to assess my work environment. I'm going to assess the company culture. And it could literally, you just could have 10 things and you have your values in a little spreadsheet with some boxes, and you're going to check off which ones match and align. And how does it align? Like I said, is it honoring or compromising your values, being in that position, but also at that employer? Because it might not be the career choice, it might be the employer choice that needs to change. Right? A friend and I talked about, she has another friend who got laid off from an executive position, right? Because she put too much faith in the people at work being chum chum. And you don't really know these people. And your values and their values are not aligned. Caused her to lose her job. Sometimes, yes, Sharonda. See, Sharonda's still part of the show, even if she ain't on the show. She said more people leave jobs because of poor leadership. I worked with a client and I was 5 seconds away. I literally, and this is anybody who knows me knows at work, I'm gonna do what I do at work. Now I've been working with the same client for almost 18 years. And about midway, early to midway, she had brought in a new manager. And he was so disrespectful when we first met. He thought he could talk to me any kind of way. And I was so about ready to pop off that I was crying. And anybody who knows me knows that the minute I start crying, this is not a sad situation, it's a fearful situation because I'm so angry that I'm crying. And I told her, if things don't change, I'm leaving. Like, I don't know where you got this guy, but it's either him or me. I'm still working with her 18 years later. Now, he still worked there, but she talked to him, and he and I ended up having a really good relationship, work relationship. Because I stood firm in my values of respect, of loyalty, of dedication. I put my everything into this, into helping her run her business. And I was not going to be disrespected by somebody else coming in. I don't care what your position is. You have to stand firm in your values. And when you do that values audit, it's going to let you know, is it me? Is it the employer? Is it the career choice that needs to change? Sometimes we got to change self because we may not have the skills to uphold where we are. And Sharonda says she's so glad that I found a favorable outcome and that we're chosen over. Yes. And I'm still working with her to this day. I still work with this client to this day. There wasn't, and let me say this was supposed to be a 3-month engagement. I was coming on to help her with a project, one single project. 17 and a half years later, I'm still here. Right? She gave me an opportunity when I was feeling at my lowest because I had got hired into this. In 6 months, I got hired and fired at a company because I was simply being me. And my manager, who was about 30 years older than me, older, non-Black Caucasian woman, I was doing great in my position until all of a sudden I wasn't. Last hired, first fired. Right? Thank you, Margie. Look, what we're not going to do is we're not going to be disrespected. We're not just going to be tolerated. We're not going to continue going to jobs where we do not feel appreciated and valued. But it starts with us knowing what our values are. You have to start from that position of, I know who I am. I know whose I am. Right? And I know what I will and will not tolerate. Now, sometimes that means you might have to go back to school. You may have to get some skills that you don't have so you can move from that position. Right? Hell, if I'm working at McDonald's and I'm the fry cook, baby, ain't nobody's fries gonna out fry my fries. Because I'm a little razzle, little dazzle, little salt bay. They're gonna be like, oh my, what you put on? What's going on with these fries? Because my fry station gonna always be clean, gonna always be crispy. The fries gonna have the perfect, like, crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Because I'm a perfectionist about what I do, no matter what level I'm at. Take pride in what you do, but make sure that it's aligned with your values. We had, when I was in high school, I worked at Jack in the Box in Seattle. Jack in the Crack is what I called it. And we had 2 different managers. One manager's name was Lincoln. Loved him. Little white gay dude. Loved him. He was a great manager. We had another manager. I can't even remember that man's name. He was an asshole and he treated us like we weren't anything. But even at that young age, I've always had a mouth on me. Yes, I have. I've always been petty. I have always been someone to speak up in certain situations. Someone to take up for the underdog. I've kind of been that person. Not always because I wanted to be. Sometimes I felt like I was thrust into that position. Right? Yes, Margie, we got to be brave. We got to be brave. Sometimes we're thrust into that position. But you have to know when it's time to exit. Stage right, stage left, stage front or back. You have to know when it's time to leave. Just because you need money does not mean people get to treat you anyway. You can do what you're doing for someone else and make impact in their business somewhere else. Or you can go and find your own thing to do. Right? Sharonda's talked many times about how when she was in the military, she didn't always feel supported by her management. Right? She's talked about her retirement. And Sharonda out living her best life right now, okay? Living her best life. She is also does bookkeeping. She letting clients go because all money ain't good money. And sometimes you have to move around and find the money. If you could see Sharonda, she's shaking her head right now. She's shaking her head. I'm looking at her in the green room and I can see her. Y'all can't see her. That's on y'all. But she's talked about that and she's shared all of her things. Sharonda was a leader. She was a manager of people. She knows good managers and bad managers. Right? You don't think that helped shape how she was as a manager? Having a horrible manager one time will help you if you get into a leadership position, because you need to know what you want, what the kind of manager you want to be, but you also need to know the kind of manager you do not want to be, the kind of employee you do not want to be, the kind of company you do or do not want to work for. Yes. Because when something is amiss, I'm reading Sharonda's comments. I'm trying to keep up to date with y'all, right? We don't overstay our welcome, baby. You ever been at somebody's house and they be like, so what you about to do? You've overstayed your welcome. It's the same with a job. We're not overstaying our welcome. When you see that something is amiss and it cannot be fixed, what I'm not going to do is stay somewhere and I'm not going to help you hurt me. That's in a professional setting. That's in a personal setting. That's in romantic relationships and endeavors. Right? But we're talking about the career right now. We're talking about the career right now. Now, when we find out that our career and our workplace is out of alignment, you got to decide what you're going to do. Am I stepping away? Am I exiting stage left? Am I going to try to resolve? My first step is always try to resolve the complication and the issue. If I hadn't and I just walked away from that business, I wouldn't still be here 18 years. I wouldn't be able to not have to work a full-time job, but be compensated at the level of which I'm respected at and that my contribution to her company belies. I ain't going to say her name because she like my sister. If you know me, you know who she is. She threatens me if I ever try to leave. She do. She know where I live. She know where she send my checks. Okay. And I joke about that because I'm valued. When shit hits the fan and it rolls downhill, she know without question who she can come to and we gonna make some shit happen. It's not always been easy. We butt heads. But I know her heart, I know her values, and her values and my values align. Because if they didn't, I wouldn't still be here. And you have to know when it's time. Yes, it is about respect, Margie. It is about respect. If you don't work for somebody who respects the contributions you bring to that company, to that relationship, to their life, why are you still around them? Right? Now, again, first we're going to start by let's identify the conflict. Start with yourself. Point the finger at yourself and understand what you may or may not have done to push this conflict further. I'm petty. Sometimes I know I have a mouth. I sometimes get very short with people and I have to reel myself back in because I may be having a frustrating day and that does not give me the right to take it out on somebody else. So I start with me at all times. What's my part in the conflict? Write down, this is everything that's happened. Baby, I will take copious notes on a situation. I will talk to others, and I have friends who will tell me the honest truth about where I am in this scenario. But you have to be true and honest and open and tell the whole truth. Don't just tell your version of it. Margie says she's not petty, but she can get on it if you want it. Margie said you don't want that smoke with her. That's what Margie said. You don't want that smoke. Don't start none, won't be none. But start with yourself and realize what part you play in it. Be open and honest. Oh, yes. Sharonda said, all too often when the writing is on the wall, people forget they know how to read. You know, that was a clackable moment. You know it. That was clackable because people sure forget to read until you have to read them and remind them of who you are and the things that happen. So start first and identify what your part is. Be very clear about your part. Be very open and honest about it and how you can improve. Go to that person, try to resolve it with them. If not, take it to management. Exhaust all your resources. When I worked for AT&T, and I just, I gave up not saying their name because they were wrong and they were foul in how they handled it. Some of the people there, not the whole company. When I worked at AT&T, we had got bought. Well, I worked at AT&T Wireless. We got bought by the larger and absorbed into the larger AT&T. They had started a new organization, new company. I mean, a new group. And I had moved to that group. Now, I wrote all the policies. I wrote and conducted the training. I did all these things, okay? My manager never stood up for me, never stood by me. His values and mine were not aligned. He was only he was scared to stand up for me, right? They did some foul things. They targeted, there were only 3 Black people in this organization of about 80. We were under the engineering team. There were about 80 people. There were only 3 of us on this smaller team. The VP had changed. We're getting rid of low performers. He gave me a 2.5 out of 5 on a mid-year review that came 3 months late, that he had written on 3 different types of contracts or types of forms because he didn't know what he was doing, right? Yes, I did too much, Margie. Yes, I did. But that's how I do. I go all in. When I'm in, I'm in. Anything I do in life, if I do it, like I said, if I'm making them fries, them going to be the best motherfucking fries you've ever had, period. Because I'm put a little different little seasonings. They're going to be gluten-free for you. Little different seasonings, right? Because that's what I do. That's the level that I work to. So you understand me, Margie, that's you too, right? But what happened is when it came down to it, they identified me and everything I was working on just stopped and was put on pause. I tried to resolve it. I went to HR, but in the back, I had already realized I'd overstayed my welcome. Because if you could do this to me, and I was one of the first 6 people in this new organization, you wouldn't have policies, procedures, training, everything. I had just trained the lady who was coming in as a lead. She was coming in for a management position. I just trained her. And I asked her, I said, I need you to read this and tell me, is this me? Because the first thing when somebody disrespects you, you're going to question yourself. Did I do something wrong? Could I have? When I exhausted that and I looked at myself and I was like, no, you did not do anything wrong. I went and I asked someone else's opinion that I trusted. I just taught you everything. You know me. You know what I know. Is this me? She said, no, they're targeting you to let you go. You're one of the people they've identified. She didn't even know. Needless to say, they tried to hide. They tried to back out of it once HR got into it. But I'd already found a position making $15,000 more in a year. 15. Okay. So when it's right for you to leave, exit stage left, but don't just leave out willy-nilly. I know you millennials and these new young ones, they will leave, baby. It's generational and it's cultural. We were raised to you stay in that position. You got a good job. You stay in that job. Hey, little millennials, this does not align with me. I'm out. They don't even got another job. Now, I'm always have another job, but that's because they got us to rely on. See, you can't do that if you didn't have good values and morals and a family that you know got your back. Because our kids know if they really, really need to come home for a minute, you can't stay here forever because we don't take care of grown folk. But you can come back, readjust, realign, and get back out there. Right? Now, we've realized that this career may not be in alignment with what I want to do and who I want to be and how I want to show up. Do you have purpose? Are you finding purpose in your work, or is it just something to do? Right? Are you finding purpose in your work, or is your work just something to do? Purpose-driven work is going to be more fulfilling. You are going to love what you do. It's not going to feel like work, right? When you feel a sense of purpose in your work, you're more engaged. You're going to be more loyal to that. You're going to work harder. And you're less likely to experience burnout, right? Now, to cultivate that purpose and find your purpose, ask yourself how your work contributes to something greater than yourself. Sharonda and Arif were in the military. They were saving lives. They were saving our freedom, right? Their purpose was much greater than them. They had a country on their shoulders, right? And other nations that we supported. Yes, Margie, would you do it for free? Right? If money was no object, would you still do what you out here doing? Yes. That's your purpose. That's your calling. So many people get stuck in the rat race and I just need money. I need this. I need that. Money ain't your driving factor. If money is your driving factor, your success metrics may be a little out of whack. I'm not going to say they're wrong because who am I to tell you? Maybe you want money to be your top thing. But what that means is that you'll do anything for it. You have a price. And there are things that even money ain't going to buy from your girl. Right? Now, let's get some actionable steps because you know I don't never leave y'all without having some steps. So how do I align my career to my values? Okay. And I want you to start making small steps. Don't feel like you got to go and jump into the deep end of the pool and your ass can't swim yet. You done took one swimming lesson and now you ready to just, no, you're going to drown. That's going to be you. Okay, I don't want that for you. I don't want you to drown and die. We're not going to jump into the deep end. We're going to step on that first step in the shallow end. Okay, Margie, I don't want that for you. I don't want that for nobody. I don't want that for anybody. So, if one of your values, let's say, is continuous learning, I want you to write out a plan. Get yourself a journal, because we talk about journaling a lot on here. And this is going to become your new best friend. Don't look at my nails. I know they're a little rough. Don't judge me. I ain't been to the nail shop yet. Okay? Maybe you're going to write down who you want to be 12 months from now. 12 months. What are your goals? What are your values, your goals as it relates to your career? We're just talking about career. You can also create one for your personal life, right? So if continuous learning, because you start with your values, first thing you're going to put on there is those 5 values. Those 5 values going to spread into your goals, right? What is 1 or 2 goals? Don't try and put 5. 1 or 2 goals that aligns with your values that will take your career to the next level, you feel like. Continuous learning. Okay? You might say, I want to go back for your master's degree. Right? So you might, one of those things going to be research online programs because you don't have It has to be something you can do in your own time. So you might research. You might want to enroll in some online courses to start. Research what it is you want to get your master's in. You're going to write those things out and what your life is going to look like in 12 months. You can go larger if you want, but I don't want you to try and jump into the deep end. Start small, right? If community is important to you, building and being an integrated part of your community, activism, find opportunities where you can volunteer with companies that their values, align with yours, right? Habitat for Humanity. You want to go work and go do some church things. Your church may have things, missions, and things that align with your values where you can volunteer, right? Schedule a meeting with your manager and talk through what you want your career to look like in the next 12 months. A good manager's, their job is to help you get there. A good manager wants to see you leave and thrive and do better than they are. Because that shows that I've done a damn good job, right? They're supposed to help you get to that next level in your career. But you don't want to just look at, I want more money, and make sure there's satisfaction in there. Make sure that the changes you want are aligning to your values. Okay? Now, once you do that, you're on the way to creating your success plan. You're on the way to creating a success plan because you've now identified what you want your life to be in the next 12 months. Let's see what Sharonda said here. Okay. I get it. Right? So you've got your goals for the next 12 months. You've got one or two goals. What I was watching this thing and this guy said something great. He said, write down 10 things that you want to change about your life in the next 12 months. Write down 10 things. And he said, if you had $1 million, or if you could snap your fingers and you could have one of those 10 things tomorrow, which one would it be? That's what you focus on for the next 12 months. That's your focus because that's your highest priority. That is your soul telling you this is the highest thing that I want to accomplish. If I could snap my fingers and this is what I would have, then that's what you're supposed to be working on for the next 12 months. Yes, Margie, focus. Then you're going to take that goal and you're going to break it down into its pieces. You can use the SMART method. You can use whatever method. Do a little research. Find the method that works best for you. Take that goal and now you're going to put it into tasks. You're going to put dates on them. It has to be measurable. Something that you 100% know when it's done in a date. And you've got 12 months to do it. It's time to focus. It's time to get clarity on who you are. Yes. Deion Sanders said, when you chase greatness, money comes. We're not chasing money. We're chasing greatness, the best, highest version of ourselves. The money will come. The money's going to be your byproduct. It's going to be your reward. One of your rewards, right? So define your person. I'm going to give you some tips. Okay. We got about 15 minutes. I'm doing good. Sharonda, today will be the first day I'm coming in at under an hour. Okay. I'm coming in at under an hour and we're going to stop this show on time today. So when we're creating our success plan, first, we're going to get our journal. Fresh, crispy, new. You can head on over to dulceandlay.com and get you one. I sell those too. I got some good ones. And I'm probably this right here, success plan, is going to turn into a workbook or something. So go on over to wakeuphappysis.com sign up, get on the mailing list, because this is going to be a workbook, right? But we're going to define our success metrics. What does success look like to you? 12 months. We're only working for the next 12 months. Salary, job title, those things may not fully capture what success is. Remember, we've just done all this work of identifying what success means like to us outside of just money, outside of just position and status, right? What are your success metrics for the next 12 months that you can say at the end of the 12 months, I have met this goal. I have been successful. Okay. The London School of Economics found that well-being and happiness are better predictors of long-term success than traditional metrics. We're not using anybody else's script anymore. We're writing our own script of what happiness is. Then we're going to set some short-term and our long-term goals. Again, we're writing out that list. What are those 10 things that you want to become in the next, let's say, 1, 3, and 5 years? 1, 3, and 5 years. Okay. Short term is going to be like what I want in the next 3 months. Okay. 3 months to a year, you're getting in that midterm, a year more. Those are going to be more your long-term goals, 3 and 5 years, right? Short-term goals are those things that I can action now. I can take action on today or the near future. Your long-term goals, like I said, that's down the road a ways. It's going to take me some time and multiple short-term goals before I reach that long-term goal. I'm going to have to break that, my 5-year plan, into 1-year increments, and that 1-year plan into 3-month segments. That might be how you do it, right? If you're using the SMART system, what is that? A goal must be specific. It must be measurable. It must be achievable. It must be relevant, and it must be time bound for it to be a good, solid goal. And it's a really effective tool. So if you're doing your long-term is to get to get an advanced degree or certification, it might be that I want to become more, I want to become Six Sigma certified or whatever within 18 months. I don't know how long that certification takes. First thing you're going to do is let me look up the courses on Six Sigma. Are there any certification courses in my near? And I'm going to take this get ready course that's going to help me be successful for taking the test. Right? That might be your short-term goal, is to complete that program. You have to have those short-term goals and multiple ones to get to your long-term goals and visions. And then you're going to create your success plan. Actionable and adaptable, because what we do in our life? Launch, analyze, optimize. Things happen in life that you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to adjust your success plan. It's not always going to work the way you want to. Somebody in your life gets sick. Sometimes you got to take a little detour, a little setback. You may take a step back to take 4 steps forward, right? If you're let's say you're trying to improve your work-life balance, your action plan might be scheduling no work hours, boundaries. I no longer work after 5 p.m., right? It might be delegating tasks. It might be setting clear boundaries with your colleagues and with your boss, right? You have to do that, right? And then you have to review your plan on a regular basis, adjust for life, and tweak it. And what's going to happen is, and then get yourself an accountability partner or partners with an S. Sometimes we need people to help us stay focused because we're all focused on reaching our goals, and we meet every week to talk through, what did you get done out of your plan? The 12-week year is an excellent program to follow. I highly recommend it. Look it up, the 12-week year. There's templates and everything. I may be nice and toss y'all a little template or something when you go to wakeuphappysis.com, get on that list, or send me a message on Facebook, Instagram. Hey, Tanya. Hey, boo. Yes. No, Margie. No, not the more the merrier. Nope. Do not put yourself in an accountability group of 20 people. Stick to 3 or 4 people. It's too hard to manage once you get outside of that. Now, you may be, and when we say the more the merrier, you may have different accountability groups. Okay? You may have different accountability groups. Margie, hit my inbox. Go to Wake Up Happy Sis on Facebook. It's me. And send me an inbox. I'll send you the template that I use for the 12-month year. I have multiple accountability groups. Sharonda is one of my accountability partners. We talk about a lot of things. Crystal, Nicole, Dr. Paulette Clark, who is the owner of KCCR Cityscape Radio and Brownstone Worldwide, where I'm broadcasting live to you today. Ma'am, did you order the fan? Did you order a fan? I ain't got the Wake Up Happy Sis fans yet, Tanya. But I'm going to get on it. Let me write, look. What do we do? I told you, I don't play about what my cards. Because that, I have been talking about that. Because we got to give our brother Tony as well one. Okay? I'm writing it down. Look. Because everybody needs to clap with us. Do you see? I wrote it down. Wrote your name, wrote Tony's name. I got it. And we're going to put a due date. Because it's not a goal if you don't have a due date. So, create that plan. Get your accountability partners together. Because accountability is going to be key to you achieving your goals. You have to be accountable to yourself. Know your why. It's hard to stick to the what when you forget the why. And you know where your why comes from? Those core values that you've put at the top. Because you have to know why you're willing to go hard for yourself. Why you want to have this change in your life in the next 12 months. Why? Because my 12-month plan might be, I hate this job. I don't have passion for it anymore. But I'm not a willy-nilly, I'm a planner. So I'm going to put a 12-month plan together for me to improve my skills so I can get a better job so I can leave this place. That might be your 12-month plan. Your why is because I want a better life for me and my kids. I'm tired of working the fries. I want to be a shift leader. I want to be an owner of a McDonald's, or not even McDonald's. Who got the better fries? Right? McDonald's got the best fries? Okay. I do like McDonald's fries. I like Wendy's fries too. Right? But you have to know what level. Hold on. Trevor, I'm going to call you back in about 6 minutes. I'm still on my show.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay. That's my coach. Bye, Sharonda. We're wrapping up. Make sure you're sharing your success plan. Okay, see, Margie, I was right. I like Wendy's too. Make sure that your success plan is being shared with somebody you trust who's going to hold you accountable, and you hold them accountable. Okay? My friends, my good friends, these women are my sisters, right? They are my sisters. They're not just my accountability partners and my brothers and sisters. I've got my other accountability group with Tyran, with Diane, with Tanya, with me. They are my brothers and sisters too, right? Find people who are not going to let you get away with your bullshit of not following through. We love to make plans and not follow them through because you're out of alignment with your own core values, right? Because you've let your inner hater, your inner Ricky Bobby, that's my hater's name, you've let him take over and tell you that you weren't supposed to do this. Yes, you were. The enemy always comes to stop you when you are doing what you are supposed to do and you are on purpose and on path. Now we've got our plan, we've got our actions, we've got our steps. It's time box. We know what we're going to do over the next year to improve. We know why we're doing it. We've shared our plan with our people and put our accountability group together, and we're meeting every week, every 2 weeks. Celebrate those small wins. Every time you check something off, celebrate. Doesn't matter how small it is. It's not always about just the final goal. It's the journey as well. Celebrate those wins. Acknowledge your progress. I have a goal that I want to reach, and when I reach it, Leanne is making herself an award. I'm making myself an award. Okay? When I reach my first six-figure quarter, I've already had six-figure year. When I reach my first six-figure quarter, baby, I'm making myself an award. I'm going right on down to the trophy place. I'm getting the sexiest award, and it's going to be, you know how people always be having their awards on the shelf? Yes. Yes. And you can do that too. You can do that too. Celebrate your wins, small or large. Plan a party when you reach that big milestone. When you're at 12 months and you've met your goal, have yourself a party. Invite people you love and trust. And invite some haters too, so they can see, because I said I'm petty. I said that. I'm going to invite some of the haters too, so you can see me shine. I ain't blocking nobody off my page because you're going to see these wins. Because there's always somebody that's hoping against you, that's rooting against you. But you know what? Leanne is always rooting in your favor. Even if I'm mad at you, even if I don't like you no more, I still want you to win. Because I ain't no hater. Now, when you celebrate those wins, and this is the last thing, it's going to boost your motivation and it's going to reinforce positive behavior. It's going to make you want to reach more goals. Winners want to keep winning, right? And your why is going to be what keeps you through the hard times. When you're in master's or a PhD program, because my next program is a PhD. That's going to be that's one of my goals, is to be Dr. Leanne Dulce. What? Don't that sound sexy? Dr. Dulce? Hey, Dr. Dulce. And that's how I will be addressed when I'm Dr. Damn Dulce. Yes, that's what you're going to do. Now, for you asking, okay, Leanne, you said that, but how do I start the success plan? Get your journal. Write down your core values. Write down who you want to be in 1 year, what success means to you, not just money and position and status. Sit down and really reflect on what it means to you to live a life that is free, that is fulfilling, that is happy, that is harmonious. Whatever your goals are and your values are, you're starting there. And you're going to set those short and long-term goals using the SMART methodology, or any methodology that you choose. And you're going to write down actionable steps for each goal with due dates, with resources. I have a planner that helps you do that too. I'm going to rework that planner, and it's just going to become this new success path. If you want to know how to find it, how to get it, make sure that you head on over to, we have the Facebook group. Wake Up Happy Sis Facebook group. But you can also find me on Facebook. Wake Up Happy Sis. Send me an inbox that says, hey, Leanne, I want to I want to get some of this good stuff you've given out. Some of it will be free, some of it won't, because I don't work for free. But if you come, I'll give you the 12-week year template for free. If you come in my inbox, I'll give you that for free. Drop your email address in my inbox and say, hey, Leanne, I would love the 12-week year template that you have. It's an automated template. Make sure that you're being the best you can be. Okay? And with that, remember, success is yours to define. We are no longer living by someone else's script. We are writing our own script. We are understanding what success, happiness, fulfillment, freedom, and joy looks like for us. We are finding opportunities, people, places, and things that align with our values and our goals and our desires. I want you to keep pushing forward and never forget to celebrate every step of the way. And as always, wake up happy, sis. We'll see you back on Monday. Bye. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of